welcome everybody to Momologues.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode.
Remember to like, share, and comment. And if you need our details, they are below, just
Yeah,
below.
below on your screen and also in the show notes. Before we get into lowlights, I do
Okay.
have some exciting news.
Ooh, please
Is
share.
that Momologues 247 has finally joined the South African Podcast Guild. So
Woo!
so they actually have a very cool section on their website called Pod Charts, where you can go and have a look at different podcasts that are around and the
Lovely.
content and the themes of them. And I can tell you that Momologues is so unique. There's nothing like it out there currently that we can see, that we can find. So it's really, really cool. We will be partnering with them, and they will be helping us to grow the pod, as well as give us some guidance and things. And what's really nice is there's a great podcasting community. So hopefully we can have some of those podcasters on our podcast, and we could be on theirs, and we can just, like, share the love and grow together. So super excited. If you want to go check it out, South African Podcasters Guild.
That sounds fantastic. And well
Yeah,
done to
thank
Momologues
you.
247.
To us. Haha,
To us. There we
to
go.
us.
So let's jump into those lowlights. Andrea, what was your lowlight for the week?
Okay. So I have to say that, it's one thing to parent and it's one thing to set boundaries and all that kind of stuff. It's a completely different thing when you have to, like, enforce the consequences. So let me put this in perspective, right? So I went and I bought toiletries the other day, stocked up, and I mean, like, the price of a bottle of shampoo is not the cheapest, and stocked up, shampoo, conditioner, body wash. And I mean, we're a household of three, so it's not too bad, but still. Anyway, so I decided to buy in bulk this time. So everything came in like liter bottles, or a little bit bigger than a liter
Lovely.
bottle. Anyway,
It does save. It does last.
it does when you don't have a 7-year-old practicing her potion making skills. So,
Potions.
yes, she was making potions, and within 3 days, we had lost half of our products. I think she was the cleanest 7-year-old in the local area. She must have smelt like chamomile and tea tree for miles. But anyway, I digress. So we had to enforce some consequences, and we had to actually, what we decided to do was to take away her Friday tuck shop money, which isn't, it's going to
Fair.
cost me 10 times as much to replace the products, but that's not the point. So
Yes.
yes, but then on Friday morning that just passed, the realization dawned on her that she's not getting her pocket money or her tuck shop money
Oh,
for her Friday
shame.
treat. So her school has like little markets, like entrepreneurship markets throughout the year.
Yeah.
And like a portion of that money goes to the school for fundraising and stuff, which I think is
But
really
it's
cool
great
because
that the
they
schools have those things.
exactly because and it's like they do send out a calendar once a month, so you know when
Yes.
it's coming. And there's
Yes.
different themes to the market. Sometimes they have, like, one of the house color themes, so then everything for sale is in that house color, so like yellow or green or something. Other times it's just stuff, other times it's food, other times it's craft stuff. So it's really, really nice. It's really cute. The girls really go, and the kids really go all out. So anyway, and last Friday happened to be a market day as well.
Aye.
So my
Aye.
daughter and her next level negotiation skills tried to convince me that tuck shop money and market money is different money. And I had to explain to her that no, baby, it's
Good
not.
negotiating skills. Like, I mean, what is she
Yeah,
going to
it's
study when she's big?
no, I don't know. Lawyer, actuary, I don't know. I suspect though she might go into the arts, something with the arts. But anyway, um, yeah, so she tried to explain to me that, or convince me that tuck shop money and market money was different money. And I explained to her, when it comes out of my purse, it's the same money. Um,
That is the same
so
money.
she was very upset, and it was fine. I was told I'm ruining her life, which is also fine, I suppose. And then a little while later, I was still busy getting ready, and I heard her in the kitchen talking to our home helper, our home lady, convincing her to give her money for market day. And I
It's
was like,
absolutely brilliant.
no. So
She is solution orientated, like find a
she's
solution.
yeah, she's going places. We're just not sure where, but she's going places. Um, so yeah, so we start. I managed to stop that, and yes, and then we went to school. But yeah, it was a little bit hard to like stand there, and she's got these big tears, and she's making sense because I didn't specify market money or tuck shop money, or. But anyway, at the end of the day, like it's a bit hard to enforce those consequences. Like it really does break my mum heart. It's a lot easier when hubby's around because then it's like I've got some backup, but he
Yeah.
unfortunately was away. He was traveling. So he
Oh
wasn't
dear.
here. So I was mum on my own with these big crocodile tears and these big, and the absolute heartbreak on her face was just,
It
I know,
almost forces you to give in, doesn't it?
yes, but I didn't. I didn't. So mum
Good.
win.
Good for you,
But
Mom.
also,
Good
I
for
must
you.
be, yeah, I also just have to add like a little tease and tease in here. So I remember last week, I was like, I don't have any lowlights. I'm having a great week. And then life was just like, that's cool, babe. We're gonna see. You're like, I see you, like, hold my beer. I'm coming for you. Anyway, so I've had like a really life skills learning week. Like a couple of things have happened. Um, but not stuff that I necessarily want to share just yet. So, but yeah, I can tell you, next time I say I don't have a low light, or I've had a great week, don't worry about me. Just remind me to just eat the slice of that humble pie because life will come and just knock me down 3 pegs
Will do.
afterwards.
Will do.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
sometimes, being a mom, like I'm a very new mom, but I'm quite someone who, like, I'll just brush it off. It doesn't really bother me. Just get on with it. Just get on with the
yeah,
task. It
yeah,
doesn't, phase me. And then when I speak to other moms, it's actually serious stuff. Like you shouldn't just phase it off. You should be like moaning about, not moaning, like just communicating about it so that you feel better
yeah,
because you're not alone in the world of being
yeah,
a mom and a carer and looking after so many things.
mm,
There's family, and you need to be a partner or a wife, you need to be a mother, you need to be a psychologist, you need to be a financial advisor, you need to be the transport. There's so many different avenues or responsibilities or titles that you
yeah,
get as a mom, but still you stay this super mom without any fuss. You just get on
yeah.
with it. You
Yeah,
just
because
make it
I mean, you
work.
don't have a choice. You just kind of have to make exactly. You just have to make it work. There's just stuff that has to get done. So you just do it. And I think that's like a really cool, um, when you actually sit and you get to something and you're like, I don't know if I can do this or whatever. Like sometimes you just need to, I've just got to do it. You've got to get your mum mode out, and you just got to be like, I've just got to get stuff done.
Yeah,
Like there's
one
just
step at a
no
time.
way. Yeah, we have the ability within us to block everything else out because there is no other option. Just do it. So we can power through things when we need to.
We can definitely. The endurance is there. You just need
Mm,
to unlock it because it's deep down, but it's there. The
yeah,
more you practice it, the better you get at it, I think.
yeah.
I think
I
for
think that's
you,
also like saying no as well. The more you practice
yes,
saying no, the easier it becomes. The more you take away
yes,
tuck shop money, the easier it becomes to take away tuck shop money. You know what I
yes.
mean? So
Got it. Got it. So like when you have a brand new baby, when it goes peep, you're like, ooh, what's wrong? What do I
yeah.
need to do? Is there nappy? Do I need to feed? What's happening?
Mm,
Now the peep can be a little bit longer and you're like, okay, I understand what that peep means. That peep means I'm tired. That peep means I'm having a
mm,
nappy. I'm hungry. I need entertainment. So you get to know that over time
yeah.
from that. And I think with your daughter being a bit older, understanding the different types of cries and moans and negotiations, it just becomes easier because you learn the child, you learn what's
Yeah,
going to happen.
yeah. So, but that level of communication never goes away, because I also know that, like, if she's done something, say she's playing and she's fallen, I know by the way that thud is if it's serious or not. I know. Um,
Are we
and
sprinting there or are we walking there?
yeah, I mean, I've got like 911 on the phone already. Yeah, yeah, that. And then also, um, when there's been like an accident in the kitchen or something, you also know, like you just know if it's serious or if it's not serious. Like, yeah. So that level of communication between you and your baby doesn't go away.
That's good to know because for me I mean it's every little bit is amazing. The new things that she's
Mm,
discovering, the new things that she's seeing. I mean she recognizes me, which is like and it's mine. Like
awesome. Yeah.
she's my baby for the rest of my life or the rest of our lives and
Oh,
it's just absolutely
it's
amazing. So
amazing.
I mean we're talking about our lowlights this week, but I just had to share that. Like every time you see her, she smiles. You're like, oh, she recognizes me. I'm her mom. It's so special.
That's so
I've never
cute.
had that.
Yeah. You know what's really cute as well, though, something to look forward to, is when they discover they have feet
Oh,
and
yes,
toes. Yeah.
she's lovely. I can't wait for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
New things, like we're
No.
discovering hands at the moment and
Yes.
making more noises and
Oh.
yeah, so it's really special. So the low light this week was just noticing how I'm not able to get to everything I normally get to at the same
Mm,
speed. Let's say, for
mm,
example, I need to pop in at my dad's house. I like to go visit him quite often on the weekends. It's not just grab and go, jump in the car, we're off. It's you need to check the nappy bag. Is it been checked? Is it done? Is everything in there that you need? At the moment, I'm
yeah.
just breastfeeding, so I don't need to pack any snacks yet. Um, we're probably going to do that in about 2 to 3 months' time. So that's easy. I just take the boobs with. I mean, they're attached, so there's nothing more
Yep.
that I need to take. Um, and then I need to make sure, like the other day, I went because I go to one of my mom's best friend's homes once a week. She looks after my peanut, and then I could get to work and stuff. But then obviously I give her some express breast milk. And the other day I was jumping in the car. I had to be there very early because I had to go to another function. So I was dropping off very early and I needed to pack everything. And as I got to just outside the gate, outside the area that I live, I noticed I didn't pack the express breast milk. And I mean,
Oh, yeah, and you got to turn around and go back. There's
I have to
no,
turn around and go back. I
yeah, they
can't.
don't sell that at the BP Express around the
No,
corner. No,
no. So
no, that's,
everything takes a little bit longer to do,
mm,
and you don't get to everything, but obviously
yeah,
you need to prioritize what is important, and you need to try and multitask as you can, but it doesn't
mm,
always fit in that way. So my low light this week was not being able to get to everything that I need to get to
mm,
as a mom. Um,
yeah,
there's another priority in my life, which obviously is the main priority, and I'll always put her first.
yeah,
But yeah, things need to get done
mm.
sometimes. And then just on the side, I mean, I'm very blessed to have running water, but we didn't have water for a couple of days.
How do
Now
you
having a
live like
baby, no water, like that's quite hectic.
that? Does
Yeah.
take a whole lot of additional planning. Do you guys have like backup water?
So we made sure because we knew the water was going to go off. So yeah, we did make
Oh,
some
okay, so it was
provisions.
planned. Yeah. Okay.
We did make some provisions, but still, you need to carry a bucket to the loo. You need to heat up water on the stove. You can't just turn on the tap and wash your hands. You need to
Yeah.
wash. I mean, we're so privileged with having running water
Yeah.
that you really miss it when it's not there.
Yeah.
But thank goodness all of that's sorted now. So this brings us
Mm.
to our highlights. What was your highlight for the week?
So, once a month, I belong to an introverts book club, and once a month we get together
Oh,
at a
nice.
restaurant or something, and then yeah, everybody brings their book and we chat a little bit. and we order a coffee and maybe a breakfast sometimes, and then we sit and we read together in
Ooh,
silence. And
that's
it's
fantastic.
just, yeah, it's an introverts book club. It's great. So yeah, I will post some info. If anybody is interested, you're more than welcome to
Do
ask for more
it.
info. We currently on the East Rand in Joburg, but we can go anywhere. I mean, book club is book club, and it's actually so much fun to just catch up with those ladies. But I can't believe how quickly time went, like from 1 month to the next month, like 4.5 weeks passed
I
between,
know.
the two
I
meeting
know.
days, and it's
I
like,
know. I
how?
know.
I know, like crazy.
I
But I
know.
love book club. Book club is fun. And yeah, it's introverts book club. So what has been nice is though I've tried to make an action like an active effort throughout this year, to be reading a different book every time I go to book club. So try
Ooh,
and get
that's
myself to
amazing.
finish
So how do you make
a
time to
book.
read?
Well, you see, that's the thing. It also comes down to the scheduling and the priorities and stuff like that. So I actually have like sometimes two books that I'm reading or three books that I'm reading at the same time. So I've got
Oh,
one
I
in
can't
my
do that.
bag.
I can't do
Yeah.
that. How do you do
So,
that? Like,
so I mean, I'm very like I love reading true crime. So I've like, yeah, you kind of get it's the cases like where you are in the cases. They're all so unique and different that I don't really get confused between them. But anyway, so I've got
yeah,
one
but
in the
that's where a
bathroom.
personality type, like, I need to finish something before I do the next thing.
Ah,
I can't hover.
yeah. You see, the
Not
thing
with,
is, if I only
yeah.
have one book, then I forget to take it with me. But if I've got one in the car, so if I'm anywhere
Uh,
waiting for it, for something or someone, or if I'm early for an appointment, then I'll quickly, pick it up and read a couple of pages. And then
that's
so I've got one
clever.
in the car, I've got one in the bathroom, for those
Clever,
times.
clever for those
And
times.
then for those times, and then I've got one in my bedroom that I'm reading. So the book that I'm currently reading is actually a really heartbreaking book. And I must be honest with you, I'm struggling to get through it. I really am. Um, and it's the case of 2-year-old James. This was in the UK,
Yeah.
who um, was a murder victim, and his murderers were two 10-year-old boys.
Oh,
Yeah, it's shocking, it's heartbreaking,
shoo.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's something we need to maybe leave for another show. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
my true
hectic.
crime library.
True crime. Yeah, what's
Yeah,
happening there?
yeah. So yeah, it's I mean it's a whole industry. True crime is a whole industry, whether it's podcasts or TV channels or documentaries or I mean it's just like a whole industry. But I do um
Yeah,
yeah,
but for
it's
me,
just
because it's true crime, it's true. It's not fiction. It's real. These are things that
yeah,
happen to real
yeah.
people, and
And that's why I
real
think
people do this.
I can follow more than one case at a time because
Yeah.
I've got stuff on there's a channel that I subscribe to on YouTube and I watch her content and she posts twice a week and her episodes are about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes or so. But that's all UK and American based crime. Then you've got
Yes.
the crime channel. You've got two crime channels on DSTV, which is our satellite TV. So you've got a choice there for background noise, whatever. I've got podcasts that I listen to also, and I mean my favorite one is True Crime South Africa, by Nicole Engelbrecht, and that is, it's I mean also like I'm one of the original. I'm like one of the OGs. So you know, I got my privileges there. Um, love it. But I mean, she's also like a dedicated. I'm a dedicated follower. Just do one case a week, and that's mostly focused on South African crime.
It's just, yeah, I can't always get my head around the things that are happening out there, and the real stuff happening, and
And
people don't know.
I can't tell you
People
what my
don't know.
fascination is. I can't tell you where it came from. I can't tell you why I didn't follow it as a career. Forensics and stuff. But that's where it started. Like back in the day. Okay, giving away
Back
my
in the
age.
day.
Back in the day, before we had like a dedicated crime channel, they used to have medical detectives on as a TV show, just as a show on the Discovery Channel, but it was like on a Saturday night at like 11 p.m. till
I think
like
I
2
remember
a.m.
that.
That's what I watched. That's where I got hooked, was by these shows, these medical shows, these forensic shows. And that was more about the forensics, not the psychology behind the crime, not patterns, not serial killers, not, it was just the forensics behind the show. And that's where it started for me.
So are you
But
now
we've
more into
taken
the psychology behind it and the
I'm
patterns?
more into everything. I just find it
Into
so fascinating, the investigation behind it and how different departments and stuff work together. I am now at a point where I try and predict the end of the case or the end of the book, or what the detective's going to do, or what the family's going to do, or yes,
But if you've read enough, then you should be able to predict
yeah,
because you can see the patterns, I'm sure.
yes, yes. So also, I was watching a documentary on Netflix the other night. It
Yeah.
was the cold case of the Tylenol epidemic, pandemic issue that they had in the States a
Yes.
couple of years ago, which has
I've seen
just
that.
recently been uploaded to Netflix. And my husband decided to come and watch with me, which he doesn't normally do. He's not a true crime kind of guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I was like, oh, this is going to happen. And it happened. And he's like,
How did you know?
should I be concerned? And I'm like, no. It's just, like I've got it on as background news. I mean, when I struggle to sleep, I'll put on a true crime podcast. And so it's really like that meme that says, do we need to be worrying about women that put on true crime, vivid descriptions of crime to relax women to let them go to sleep? Like, so
It just works for you.
it works for me. I love it. I do love it. I'd love to get involved in the industry more. But we'll see if that's on my journey, then we'll go that way. But if it's not, I'm still a fan.
Well, the more you speak it, the more the doors would open. So the fact that you're just putting it out there and everyone's seeing it, I'm sure you can
I
open a
know,
door somewhere.
yes. But anyway, we've now taken a massive scenic route. We
Massive.
st-
Massive. So my highlight is not, it's not so extraordinary, but I think it's quite extraordinary. So we like to do a bit of overlanding. So we're quite rigged
What's
for.
overlanding?
So overlanding is when you jump in your car with your tent on top and maybe a trailer at the back, and you go and drive somewhere and you just park wherever and you camp with no
Oh,
facility.
oh.
So we're quite rigged for
The
that.
cliffs is a straf.
No, it's nice. I like camping and I like being in the bush and I like being in nature. So it's
Mm,
quiet. There's no distractions. Obviously, you don't park in the city. You go to like a game reserve or
yeah,
you go to Zimbabwe or to Botswana or to Namibia or you drive like you drive kilometers like 500 kilometers a day just to get to your next point type of thing.
yeah,
And then you sleep and you camp and yeah, so we're quite rigged. Oh, well, Martin's quite rigged with that. Um, I just tag along and help where I can, but I'm quite an easy camper.
yeah.
And I mean, we can set up the tent very fast also, so we're quite good at that. We know exactly,
Mm,
that's where, some people like dancing and they sort of talk their love language when they're dancing and things like that. Me and Martin do it
yeah.
when we camp. Like we
Okay. Yeah.
great camping team. So we didn't have water. Obviously, and we don't have a
Oh, it's
bath.
like the week had practice for you, when you were at
We
home.
we we had we only have a shower in our flat, and yeah, so we rigged out the portable shower, and we had a hot shower last night, and it was absolutely amazing. We boiled some water in a big pressure cooker so that we had some water, and you put it in a
Okay.
bucket, and you rig out the shower, and yeah, you had a nice hot
So
shower. So
are you
that
are you still without water at home?
no, it came back this morning. So.
Oh, okay, so that's why we had a camping shower, an overlanding shower.
Yes, an overlanding shower. But I sort of forgot about the overlanding shower. So yesterday I was a bit bleak because I couldn't get to all my exercises because if you don't have water, you don't want to move too much, you don't sweat too much. You like just need to wash,
Oh,
what you need to wash when it
that's
comes to
just
that.
like a That's just like a Tuesday for me, though. Well, you know, when I move a lot and exercise a lot.
So, so I don't, so I didn't get to the normal workouts I normally do. And then
Yes.
when we had the shower, I was like, oh yes, tomorrow's gonna be the day. So got up early, did the exercises because I'm like, the shower's
Okay.
gonna be ready. And then the water was there. I was like,
So
yay.
did you go running?
So in the mornings I do a bit of floor work, so a bit of yoga, and a bit of
Mm,
Pilates. And then in the afternoons I do the walk with the dog. I'm not running yet.
okay.
Um, yeah, I'm not running yet.
Just following on from last week.
Yes, it's still a bit tender. We're not there yet. Like we're
Mm,
walking much faster. So
okay.
we can do two blocks instead of
And did you
one
only
in the
take
same
one dog
time.
instead of all three?
No, only taking one dog at the
Okay.
moment.
So you've learned
Did I
from last
about the
week?
big fight they had? Oof.
No, the dogs.
Yes, it was so unfortunate. They had a bit of
Mm,
it had a bit of a rustle. Um, but the two
mm,
males for no reason. I don't know why. But yeah, there was a little bit of blood spilling. It was just the ear that got caught in a tooth. Everyone's fine. Nobody, no casualties, no
yeah.
vets, no doctors. Everyone's okay. But yeah, so at the moment we're just walking one until
Oh,
yeah, we build the confidence to take them all again. But they're all like chummies again. Like they're all
ah,
chilled. But
yeah.
yeah,
Wow. That must be so
unfortunate.
scary. And I mean, you've got bigger dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got well, had got chihuahuas. So, I mean, when they got into a tussle, you know, the teeth don't do that much damage. And it's more like two bumblebees fighting over a flower more than like a fight.
Yeah, no, this is very different. I had to get people to help.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't even if ever the dogs were like fighting for whatever reason, you don't even get up, you just yell at them
No.
because eh,
Yeah, you could just pick them up and like, yeah.
yeah.
Wasn't there
I mean,
one
if
of
you
our
throw like
followers
a
who mentioned that he put his child in the shower to cool them down to help with the tantrum? You can do similar with dogs. You just
yes, you can
throw
with
water on them and then
yes. But if you throw like a cup of water on a chihuahua, it's like they're bathing because they're so tight.
much easier. All right, so moving on
Anyway,
to the next part, I mentioned a few things about multitasking or prioritizing,
mm,
and we want to get onto the topic of multitasking. So, Andrea, what do you
yeah.
understand about multitasking?
So for me, multitasking is pretty much just mum mode.
On
There's
mode,
just
love
yeah,
it.
mum mode. There's just like you say, there's so many things that have to happen in a day, whether like you're at work, but you've also got like a project for school is coming up, so you need to collect recyclables. So when you're making coffee and the coffee's finished, you're like, oh no, we mustn't throw this away. We need it in the recyclables. Oh, but we better wash it first so that we got good impressions at the school and stuff. So like all this stuff is just happening at the same. It's just mum mode. It's just the day's going on. Going to the shop. Oh, the bird's food is almost finished. Let's get some bird's food. Oh, but while we're here, the dog's treats are also done. Okay. Oh yes, but I remember I needed to. While you buy the pet food,
I'm
the
feeling
poisons
exhausted
are not
already.
that far. Like the poisons are not that far. You're like, oh, we've got that ant problem outside. Okay, just grab some stuff for the ants. Sugar is also done because ants and sugar make a connection in your brain. So you go and grab the sugar, and then you're in the winter food aisle, comfort food aisle, rusks and biscuits, which goes so lovely with coffee. Ag en wat is 'n ou lekker beskuitjie in die aande met 'n koffie? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like all
I
that stuff
agree.
is just like happening. Like my day, I've got like three or four things on my day that I need to accomplish and everything else. And I'm busy the whole day. My mind is busy the whole day. Um,
But you know what that is?
Everything
It's
else
just
is mom mode.
basically your attention moving from one thing to the next thing at super
Yes,
speed. Light,
yes,
like what do you call it?
yes. And
Light speed.
I've decided to embrace it as my superpower. So instead
Okay.
of like just being exhausted by it and getting frustrated with it, it's just my superpower and it's what I do. But what I did want to do this year, and I really only started doing it this year, is as part of my self-care stuff, because you often forget how, to reflect when you go
Yes.
back and to actually see how far you've come. So I've started, I mean, I eventually found a diary after how many years have I been trying to use a diary? Probably since school. But anyway, so a diary that gives me a week view. So I know where I can move stuff around. So it's not a day view, it's a week view. So
Yeah,
if I will show you, this was last week, which is
got
quite cool.
it.
So I put my blocks in, and then I also take a moment to, use colors because colors stimulate me. If there's space left in the block, I just write something about the day and how I was feeling. So I keep track of my feelings, my emotions. I do have like a pack of stickers. And if I've got time, then I'll sit and put stickers everywhere, that are appropriate. I highlight what needs to be highlighted.
So you are
Um,
task managing. You have your
Yes,
to-do
and I and
list.
I and I
You are
love it because I can,
prioritizing
yeah,
tasks.
and it's a whole week, so I
Do you
can move stuff
allocate
around.
times to it? Like
Yes, it does
allocating,
have times from six
great.
to eight, from 6 in the morning to 8 at night. But at the back, and this is a A4 diary. It's a week view diary from the papery. You can find them on Facebook. That's where I did find them originally. But what I did start doing was making use of trackers this year. So in the back of the diary, they've got like a journal section. And basically, I print my trackers and then I put them in there. So this is,
No, that's really
I've actually
important
started a
because,
bucket list, which
oh,
I've
that's
never done
amazing.
before. So I write down my bucket list things. I try and keep track of my sleep when I'm struggling. So you can see how many hours of sleep you get in a night. So I have these trackers and then I print them when I need them. What I like to do at the end of each month is do a wheel of life reflection.
Ooh, Wheel of Life
So
reflection. I've got those as well. They work well.
yes, and I've done them before, but I never kept them or never used them to refer back to. So now that they're in this
Mm.
like journal section, I can easily look back at my year. Then another one that got me was TV shows and movies. So
Ah,
that you don't watch the same thing, but also makes you mindful of how much you are watching. So, yes, this is a lot. I've got 2 pages, but it's usually
when
in
do
the
you make time to
background.
fill it in?
It's usually in the background. It's like on. So
Okay.
at night, when I'm, reviewing my day, finishing up for the day, it's usually once Peanut has gone to bed. Then I do that. And then I also have like just if I find a coloring page or something, then I'll put it in, color it in. Then the beginning of this year, I decided I don't get to keep in contact with my family enough. So I started, and I want to, I just don't have the time to. So I started writing a family newsletter. So I've got my list of who needs to get my family newsletter every month. And then I've also got things that are like things that mean something to me. So this has got to do with chakra work, and
Lovely.
personal alignment and all that stuff. So there's that. And I make use of these trackers, and these trackers are really easy to find. You can find them on Pinterest, you can find them on design programs like Canva, even, and you download them, print them, stick them in, and use them. Um,
It's really important to have something like that because when you
yeah,
have that constant task switching, moving from one task to the next, it
yeah,
leads to something that they call like a fragmented attention. So
yeah,
when you have that, you make more you make more mistakes. You drained. Your working memory is not as good as it
mm,
is because you're trying to remember everything, like you mentioned, the ants, the sugar, the winter food, all of that at
mm,
once, just trying to remember all of that. So when you are trying to multitask without a tool, so Andrea, you're doing it very well. I mean, you're using a tool. When you multitask without a tool, it does reduce like things like your focus and your productivity,
mm,
and your memory. It's really not good for your mind. It
mm,
can increase stress, burnout. But obviously, we moms, we have to multitask. We need to think for
mm,
everyone, and we need to think for ourselves, and we need to make
yeah.
time for ourselves. So that is a really, really good tool that you've got. It's got that
Thank
to-do
you.
list. It helps you to prioritize. It helps to set the time limits. It helps to
Hmm.
delegate. It helps to avoid distractions because you're focusing on that in that moment.
And I think it's also, I mean, you could even go as far as to include trackers with regards to when you like mindful eating and things like that. I
Correct.
know
Yeah.
we've done work together on that. and that mindful eating. So it doesn't necessarily have to be every single thing that you've eaten in a day. Maybe it's just the chocolates, but just to keep yourself aware and remind yourself of where you're going, what you want to do, and just holding yourself accountable, because it makes a huge difference writing things down. And it's not just a list where you can tick things off or ignore, or, yeah, it's on my
True.
list, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. It's actually like, I don't know, for me, the colors, the colors draw. I think that's what makes it so exciting for me, is I can actually pull out my Cokies and my color pencils and my color pens, and I can, like,
And that's
color
you.
in some
You love
flowers.
it.
And that's me. I love the bright colors. I love the
Yeah.
thing, and so I get to kind of put everything all together at once. But that's for me. So if anybody listening would love a copy of our trackers that I've been using, I'm happy to email them to you. Please just pop us an email. Here's our details
Yes.
below, and just make the subject trackers, please, and I'll reply with all the trackers that I use, and give you some guidance on where you can find your own trackers if you want some more trackers. But yeah, let's start the conversation about the trackers. If you use them, if you don't use them, if you want to use them, let's get the conversation going,
I
and
like what you said
see
with
where we can go.
reflecting on your day. It's so
Yeah.
important that, and when you also mentioned that we don't take notice of the things that we've achieved over time.
Mm,
And when you have a tracker, you're able to do that. You can see those small things that you're changing, which leads into mountains. Because we
mm,
normally, as humans, we like to see big change. We don't like those little
mm,
things. And being a mom, especially a new mom, it helps to have guides that
mm,
can help you to multitask better, to
yeah.
prioritize better, to manage your time better, because everything does take longer to do. It's not just
Mm,
load the kid in the car and drive. You need to make sure,
yeah.
I mean, just putting her in the car seat takes time. It's
Yeah.
not just jump in and let's go. Everything takes longer. So
Mm,
prioritizing and knowing where your time's going makes a huge
mm,
difference. And then also looking after yourself, that self-care that you mentioned. Are you prioritizing that? Are you looking at it?
mhm.
Is it written down somewhere? It makes such a difference. I also
So I've
use,
actually,
yeah.
sorry. Mm-mm.
No, no, I don't use a tracker like you, but I also, I mean, for me to help me multitask, I've got a specific diary, I've got time allocated to it, and because I am task oriented, I need to finish it before I get to the next
Mm,
one. I dedicate specific time slots for
yeah.
certain things, and then I know, okay, then it's finished, I can move to the next part.
And I must be
Um,
honest with
yeah.
you that your time blocking is actually where I wanted to get to. So, like, for the years that I've known you, that I've known that's how you work and how you structure your time and things, and I've respected it. I was never able to do it, and I've respected it so much. It was something that I wanted to mimic for myself.
Oh, thanks, Andrea.
So I'm not as strict with my time as you are. Like, if Tanya says I'm starting at 10, she starts at 10. There's no, like, 10 to 10. It's not, it's 10 o'clock. We start at 10 o'clock, and if we finish at 11, we finish at 11. There's no, like, because Tanya's time is structured, and it's something that I've always appreciated and admired about you. So it definitely was a source of inspiration for me when I was working to get to a system that worked for me, was that.
Thanks. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. So another thing that people struggle to find time with. And look, I know that social media has sort of made it a bit of a buzz at the moment. It's quite a it they've sort of made journaling into something so much bigger than what it can be at its grassroots foundation. So
True.
journaling is just, if it's something that bothers you, if it's something you need to work on, anything that you want to think about, that you consider, when you start writing, it's unbelievable the stuff that comes out. And
The
I
power
mean,
of
for me,
writing
when
is
I sit,
amazing.
exactly, I mean, I sit and I'll journal, and then I'll decorate it so that I want to go back and read it, or I'll highlight keywords or something. And for me, a great thing was when I was journaling and working and like prioritizing myself, was I started looking at things that triggered me, things that I got upset about, and I would journal about that, because I decided to start using my triggers as my guides for personal development, for growth, rather than a limiting factor in my life. So
Lovely.
this irritates me, but why does it irritate me? And when I started writing, it's incredible the amount of stuff that comes out. And you don't have to dedicate, you don't have to decorate, you don't have to, it it can be 5 minutes while you're waiting for your kids
Correct.
at school, or start writing while but it's that actual pen to paper for me that
Pen
is
to
so
paper.
special. Pen to paper that we are losing with computers and electronics and everything that's
Yes.
e-simplified or whatever.
They
You
did a
you
massive
lose
study
that.
on pen to paper, how
Mm,
writing, the power of writing just helps you to relieve and dissolve. And it's like
mm,
opening the floodgates and letting all the
yeah,
dirty water out and opening
yeah.
space for new
Mm.
water to come in, basically.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the stuff comes from your subconscious. So it's stuff that you're thinking about that you don't, it's not in your conscious brain. So it's not like you're sitting there going, oh, okay, and you're like actually taking time to think about it. It's stuff that comes out in your subconscious. It's stuff that's happening
Yeah.
all the time that you
But you
don't
have to be willing and
realize.
open to that.
Correct. And it's that pen to paper that makes such a difference. What I
Pen to
also started,
paper.
I do have yeah. And so what I've also started doing is just things that I find pretty, or if it's a meme or a saying on a packet of sugar or something, I bring it home and I stick it in my journal. I stick it in the journal part of my diary. It's a whole year. I can
You're
literally, at the end of
creating
this year,
positive environments around you. So
yes,
that's really good.
yes, positive habits. Yeah. And it's
Positive
something that I
habits,
really,
positive affirmations, positive
mhm,
influences.
and it's something that I would love to pass on to my daughter. I know I need to be the best version of myself for her so that she gets the best out of me. So that's what I focus on doing.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. That's deep, eh? I'm not there yet.
The other thing, before I forget, the other thing, no, let me just find it so that you can see why it's so awesome, is obviously, when I only have one daughter, and I'm also only planning on having one daughter. And for those of you who are interested, there is a reason why I have two different length hair, but we'll get to that another day. Um, uh, so when she was little, we did have a problem with grommets and draining and stuff like that. And so I actually, this idea started um, with trying to find a pattern in when she was getting sick, how she was getting sick, what medications they were giving her. So I started this medical book tracker, and it's just a normal
Lovely.
A4 book,
It makes all the
and
difference. That
it
is a
does.
brilliant tool.
It does. So I've got the date, I've got the problem that I saw as her mom. Um, what happened? So did we just monitor at home? Did we decide to go to a doctor's appointment? What we did, who the doctor was that we saw, and what medicine they gave her. And then I've got all my notes in there from her medical history. So when I decided to start doing this, I actually had to go and pull my medical aid statements and make details from that and notes from that. And then now, once a month, I sit and I make sure that if I haven't already, I make sure that whatever's happened that month has been there. And this has come in handy so many times. I can't
That's
tell you.
fantastic.
Um, every time we've had anesthetic, I highlight it so that it's easy to identify. So it's like this bright yellow block that sticks out. So when she's had to have anesthetic for any reason, the anesthetist obviously wants to know what their medical history is, and you just give them the book and they've got everything that they need. So that's been great. But also when she got a little bit older and we started doing other kinds of assessments, like an OT assessment or a speech therapy assessment or something, they want to know what could have contributed. Let's just take speech therapy, for example. They want to know what
Yes.
contributed to those speech problems or those delays, or is there anything that could have contributed to a delay? When you give them a medical history book, they weren't able to hear sounds properly because their sinuses weren't draining. They lack the foundation of those sounds. So they know,
Oh
okay,
my
we need
word.
to probably go to the sounds and start working on the sounds. Exactly. They want to know this stuff. And I mean, who would think to tell them, oh, for the first 2 years of her life, she was constantly snotty? Because that's what she's hearing. She's imitating what she's
Yes.
hearing. And if
Yes.
she's not hearing correctly,
Then she's not going to pronounce
then
it
she's not
correctly.
pronouncing it correctly. So it was really, really helpful for me to keep this book, and it's something I do keep up to date. Um, and also at the back,
That's
I just make
fantastic.
notes of any major diagnosis that has come from the family tree.
That is a
So
good tool to have
yes. So
as a mom.
yeah. So if there's been a diagnosis of a heart condition or a lung condition or a memory condition or something like that, I just make a note in the back because she might need it one day. My daughter might need it one day. So is there a history of heart attacks in your family? Well, actually, yes, there is. Or no, there isn't.
That is fantastic. That is some great tools that we have for moms. So,
Yeah.
multitasking like a real mom, or making
Hmm.
sure you have a system to help your different tasks to fit in your day, and
Hmm.
then looking at just your children's history and seeing if there's any patterns. I mean, that's a brilliant tool. So, thanks for sharing that, Andrea.
You're welcome. Also, you can make a note of what medication works and what medication doesn't work. So
Yeah,
if you've had to
very
go
good.
back for a second round of antibiotics, then okay, last time I got this antibiotic, this one didn't work. But anyway, I mean, we could spend like a whole episode just talking about this. But, again, if you want to see a picture or, you'd like a suggestion or whatever, uh, pop us an email, pop us a comment, and we will happily send you some
Yeah,
more
but also
info.
if there's other, I mean, out there, other moms that have other tricks that they've
Yeah,
used or tasks that
please
they've
share.
used or
Mm.
tools, please share it. I mean, we're here to help mums to be better moms and to be super moms and not to feel
And
alone.
nothing,
And yeah,
exactly. And also, nothing that we've said is to shame anybody or to make them feel
no,
inadequate. These are
no,
just, we're just sharing tools that we
that
found
work for
have been
us.
useful. So, I mean, if you just wing it, great. If it works for you, that's fantastic. That's what we want, is we want a community of real moms where you don't have to feel pressured at all to perform, to live up to expectations or anything. We just want to create a real community of moms who can support each other.
Great stuff. So remember to like, share, and comment below. We need to move on to something that you might not
To wrap,
need.
yeah.
You might, you might just, it's new information. And
Random thoughts by Tanya.
random thoughts by Tanya. So I thought about this. Snails.
Yeah,
Snails that you get in the garden. Did you know that they
escargot.
actually have snail farms in South Africa? And there are two
No,
big ones. One is in the Western Cape and one is in Gauteng.
really.
And it's called, the scientific name is called heliculture,
Leaky
which
culture.
is
Okay.
snail farming. And it's practiced in South Africa for obviously cuisines. It's also
Yeah,
practiced because they use the slime in beauty products of the
yeah.
snails.
Those snail
Um,
beauty products are popular. I
are
think
very
even Berry
popular.
Mark had one for a long time. I
Yes,
wonder if they
yes,
still
they had a
do.
very, I don't know.
Tone, I think it was called.
I can't
And
remember. You're blowing my
that's been
brain.
out since I was in high school. So that's been out a good 20 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am
So the
interrupting.
meat is quite high in protein that you can
Hmm.
have. It does have a bit of calcium in it, a little bit of iron, a little bit of potassium, a little bit of magnesium. So you're getting all your minerals in there. And I mean, some of these, we're not talking about the little snail that you get in the garden. I mean, these snails are massive. They're as big as my hand. So it's
No.
quite
Yeah.
ewy if you like not into squeamish, if you're not into like slimy stuff. But yeah, a lot of people there's a market for snails, and you can even, I know there's a place in Midrand that you can go on a tour for a snail farm,
Oh, really?
of
We
a
should pop
snail
those.
farm.
Yeah, we must pop that information here.
Yeah, then
That's
you
interesting.
can go for a
Didn't you?
tour, see
You
how
went
it
on that
works.
snail tour, didn't you?
Yes, yes, yes. So you can see what it's all about, and yeah, what's involved. And we've got the best climate here in South Africa for snail farming, and it's a really like niche market, but if you invested into it, it's quite profitable for some people if you really work at it. Yeah, because
Something
of
that I've always wondered, maybe is the snails that we eat in cuisine snails. Obviously, they're
yes.
a different caliber snail to garden snails. We don't eat garden snails, but do they have do they have shells as well, or do they not have shells?
Yes, some of them do. Yes.
Some of them do. So if they
Yes.
don't have a
I
shell,
think
is that just a
it
slug?
depends on the brand that so
The
this
brand or the
one,
breed of
the
snail?
breed, yeah. But they do have, yeah, they do have the shells on them because those are the ones that you use in the cuisines that are in the snail farms are the ones with the
How do
shells on.
how do they get them out of the shells?
Um Maybe that would be a
Anyway,
discussion for
random thoughts
something
by
random.
Tanya.
Yeah. Um, I won't be sharing any snail recipes on this pod for cuisine purposes. But yeah, you can go check out the website. We'll put it below, and you can go maybe take your kids on a nice snail farm excursion.
That actually, yeah, that sounds. I'm actually going to make a note for that for the next school holidays.
Yeah. So wrapping
Snails.
up, if you are stuck with any multitasking, you don't understand why everything is taking so long and you're feeling a bit low, we are giving you some tips. So make sure you've watched the podcast if you haven't watched it, and put your likes, your shares, and your comments below. Andrea, any last words?
Have an awesome week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. It really does make a difference to us. So I'm sure I speak on behalf of both of us when I say we actually get quite a lot of personal fulfillment from doing this on a weekly basis. And this is definitely something that we want to continue. So please join our community, help us grow our community, and yeah, just a huge thank you. And just remember that as a mom, sometimes we don't feel important, or we just feel like we're being used all the time. But just know that you are important, and you are loved, and you are valued. And if you're not sure of any of those points, reach out to us and we'll remind you.
Great stuff. Thanks, Andrea. And
Thanks,
thanks to
Tanya.
everyone watching and listening.
Cool. We'll chat to you next week. Bye.
Bye.